Yes, we are back again in the building. Good morning to everybody. We are here with some transfer news pertaining to Liverpool Football Club. Guys, as always, make sure you're smashing the like button. We are 10 seconds in to the video. So, obviously, we're here to take a look at two players who it looks like Spain is calling. It does look like Spain is calling for these individuals, and that is Luis Diaz and Ibrahima Konaté. Now, obviously, when we're looking at Konate, listen, look, there's been talk in regards to him potentially leaving at the end of his deal. Posted out here, Ibrahim Konate has made it clear through intermediaries that if he were to leave Liverpool, it would be to sign for Real Madrid. Now, obviously, a lot of Liverpool fans are quite annoyed, with Konate and also potentially with the board, but more so with Konate in terms of obviously not really committing, to the team or anything like that. We did hear about a contract being put on the table. I believe this was around October. I believe Fabrizio posted this out around about October, and it said that Liverpool and Konate were both sitting down at the table trying to hash out this deal and everything like that. And nothing came of that, to be honest with you. And it looks like both camps seem to be way off whatever it is that they are trying to offer and receive. So yeah, it does look like it's a weird situation, man. It is a weird because obviously we've just had the situation with Trent Alexander-Arnold. So of course, people at this moment in time, they're not really trying to hear, someone like excuse me, Kanate, trying to almost dictate, terms almost, so to speak. And I get that. Oh, I totally do get that. Ultimately, we don't want to be left in the same position that we was left in with Trent Alexander-Arnold. Yes, I know we got a little bit of money for him, but that was just kind of chicken change, just one of those kind of things. And that was purely just to get him early for that Club World Cup that obviously Real Madrid are participating in. So yeah, if it weren't for that, we would have just, lost him for free regardless. So we don't really want the same thing. But we know when it comes to Real Madrid, we know what they're on. They're on the free agency thing. That is their kind of MO, at this current moment in time. They're not really, they're probably the only club that I can think of in world football. There could be others, maybe Barcelona if if they can pattern up a few things, but Real Madrid are the only club that I can think of off the top where players will wait. Players will wait to move to that club. They'll do whatever it is that they need to do at their current club. They'll do the whole, to and fro in and stuff like that. But ultimately, they're kind of just waiting for Real Madrid. And really, they're kind of sitting in these kind of situations. And remember, they're putting their kind of neck on the line here. Do you know what I mean? Because if Real Madrid turn around tomorrow and say, yeah, you know what, we don't even really want to sign, we don't want to sign Konate or we didn't want to sign Trent, we can get another player in that kind of position. All of a sudden now, it does look a little bit, do you know what I mean? So obviously from that side of things, I get it, but ultimately it's Real Madrid, so I get it. They're the biggest club side in the world. They are one of the top team in the world or whatever. Got all of these fantastic players and things like that. And moving to Real Madrid is what it is. It's moving to Real Madrid. You're moving to the biggest club, with some of the best players to ever grace the game of football. So that's going to entice anybody. And ultimately, I guess some players look at it, especially in today's day and age, you know, with with the way that clubs move with players and stuff like that, in terms of you know letting players go. Obviously, if you're not deemed good enough, then you're just surplus to requirements. So once that starts to kick in, all of a sudden now it's like, yeah, clubs will just sell you for this amount, for that amount. They don't really care about you. So players are starting to look after themselves quite a lot, which again I totally understand and I get it. But of course, looking at it from a Liverpool lens, obviously we don't want to be held to ransom here. So I do think that Liverpool are going to have, I don't want to say problems, but we do definitely need to kind of look at this situation and, kind of, think to ourselves, okay, if we're not going to renew this deal, how long are you willing to wait in order for us to, come to some type of conclusion? Ultimately, are we going to wait until we did for Trent and it's like, excuse me, you know what, we'll just keep it going until the end of the season. Hopefully we can convince him. If that's the case, he's definitely gone, in my personal opinion. I just don't see many people changing their minds in those kind of situations, especially if you know that Real Madrid, will take you at the end of that deal. Or do Liverpool just sell now? that is obviously being, thrown around. Do Liverpool just sell now, getting the likes of a Mark Gay as an example? Because that's obviously one player we've been linked with, and then we can just kind of, I guess, quote unquote, rebuild in that kind of way. Does Arne Slot think, you know what, I'd rather have him here now, as an example, as opposed to letting him go? Too many questions. And that's the problem, that unfortunately Liverpool have done this to themselves. They have got numerous amount of players who deals are running out very, very soon. And it's not even like these are players that you don't necessarily want to keep. I'm sure the club want to keep an Allison, but I'm sure his deal ends in a year or two. We've got too many players, Virgil van Dijk, Salah, trying to sort that out. That was, a problem in itself. And what is the best course of action moving forward? Because we can't keep putting ourselves in these kind of situations. And really, we're the ones losing out when you actually think about it. It's not the player, it's not anybody else. It's going to be us, because ultimately, I think from a Liverpool perspective, I'm just like, listen, you can't keep being the big boy to Real Madrid. At some point, you need to kind of put your foot down and get these things sorted, or you just got to be really ruthless in the way that you handle your business. I.e., okay, if we're at this point, bro, it's either take it or leave it at this point. Like, we've got a year left until your deal runs out. And we're saying, yeah, you know what, maybe we can hash it out, have a conversation. You know what, it's better to keep him and all that. I'm like, right, okay, cool. If you feel keeping him would be a better option, a better idea, then fair enough. I can't really argue with that. Just selling him. Honestly, you're better off just selling him. You're better off just selling him. But listen, man, it is what it is. Obviously, we move on to Luis Díaz. He's been a hot topic for many reasons over the last couple of days. I tried to stay out of it. I don't actually care, to be honest with you. Do what you're doing. It's none of my business. But in terms of the football side of things, so this was posted out in the morning, yesterday morning, from Fabrizio. Barcelona plans have not changed. The intention is to try and make a new approach for Luis Díaz soon. Diaz keen on the move. He's the main target for Barca as a winger. That was in the morning. Then later on in the day, I saw Luis Diaz has now agreed personal terms with Bayern Munich. So I was like, oh, okay. So is he going Bayern? Is he not going? Like, I didn't really know, and I don't really. Again, by the time this video is even posted out, this will probably have changed into something else. So yeah, just kind of stay locked in, stay tuned. But yeah, when we're talking about Luis Diaz, I've said it many times before. I think between Luis Diaz and Cody Gakpo, probably the smarter play would be to keep a Cody Gakpo, because he's younger. They're both of the same level, in my personal opinion. They do things differently, of course, but I don't think one is above the other in the kind of pecking order. So yeah, I'm not going to be too fussed were he to go. I know Barcelona seems to be the place. I don't know, man. I don't really want him. I mean, we're good over that side. Like, we're looking at people like Nico Williams and that. I don't know. I feel like, yeah, maybe Barca should go a different direction. But if they want him, they're gonna get him. Like, I'm not even saying that he wouldn't necessarily cook out of Barcelona. Obviously Bayern Munich with Jamal Musiala obviously picking up that injury over the weekend. That could be a place that he could potentially go to. If it's, I think it's just more if Bayern Munich are serious in signing him. If they are serious and they want to put up the money, which I think they can put up the money, I don't feel like Liverpool are asking for like 120 million, but I know that they're asking for quite a bit. So if we can sort out a deal, I think Liverpool will do it. And I think they'll just look at it and think to themselves, ultimately, we've still got players here. So you still got the likes. I know we don't talk about them like the Chiesas and stuff like that. We still got them here. Darwin Núñez, what the hell's going on with him and stuff like that. So I think from a Liverpool's perspective, I think it's just purely going to come down to how much. But obviously, we also then need to understand, again, we're going to be, if we don't sell him this season and this whole year, we're then in the same position the next year, because they would have a year left on his deal. So I'm like, all right, well, if he's only got a year left on his deal, are you looking to sell him? Are you going to get rid of him? Like, how do you view him? Like, I don't know. It just seems like Liverpool in such a weird place in terms of how they're doing business. Obviously, the transfer window is not over, so this could all look different. I'm just talking about from this perspective right about now. That's kind of, the way that I'm looking at it. Obviously, with the Jota news of, as well, unfortunately, and I don't want to sound disrespectful, hopefully, by saying this, and ultimately Liverpool going to need to replace. What I mean? That's a spot now gone. That's one less player that you may or may not have been accounting for in terms of whether they're going to be here or not. Now, obviously, I know Liverpool right now, the fans, transfer news is almost, put in the back burner. I get that, but ultimately it's a business. Things are going to move on. Life moves on. So that's kind of where we're at, at this moment in time. I'm not saying that Liverpool are doing that, by the way. They put out a really, really great tribute I saw on LFC TV. So yeah, check that out if you haven't, of course, check that out. But yeah, in regards to like the business side of things, in the football sense, yeah, I'm just looking at it now, and yeah, I'm you know me, I'm the type of person I kind of always look forward regardless anyway. So yeah, I'm looking at it thinking, okay, so gonna need a player here, gonna need a player there. Do we let Diaz go? Do we let Nunes go? Do players want to leave? Kind of thing. I don't know what the vibe is with Liverpool at this moment in time. It's such a weird space. So I don't know, where in terms of where Liverpool players are at, the ones who want to stay, the ones who want to go, the ones who did want to stay or did want to go. What does that look like now? With everything that's obviously been going on. So yeah, I guess it's just one of those, man. We just got to wait and see. But yeah, Luis Díaz potentially going to Barcelona, potentially going to Bayern Munich. Who knows? And then obviously Konate looking like he may want to go to Real Madrid come the end of his deal. Liverpool fans, let me know in the comment section, man. Like, how do you kind of feel at this moment in time, transfer wise? I know everyone's going to say what they're going to say. I get that, but just focus on the football. Let's just try and move on. How do you guys feel, in regards to both Luis Diaz and Ibrahima Konaté? Do you think we should be tying these kind of players down to deals, or are you guys kind of good if they were to leave? Let me know your thoughts, of course, in the comment section, people, and I'll catch you guys soon, man. Peace.